Good morning, Spurs. I just wanted to go over with you plot and the different parts of plot. The plot follows a story from beginning to end. The plot involves the problem, the rising action, the exciting part, the falling action, and then the resolution to the story. All right, let's go ahead and start our plot mountain. I like to make my mountain look cute, so I'm going to put that there. So first I'm going to label the different parts of plot. First I have the beginning of the story. This is called the exposition. In the exposition, we have the beginning of the story. This is where we're introduced to the characters. This is also where we learn about the setting. The setting is where a story is taking place. After the exposition, we start to go up and we experience the rising action. This is also in your lesson plans that were sent out if you need to go back for reference. So as we're doing our rising action, we are going up the mountain. As we're going up the mountain, this is where the problem begins, where the problem starts. Okay, the problem. Exposition, rising action. As we get to the very, very tippy top of that mountain, that is where we have the climax. The climax is where the story gets super exciting. That's where the problem really gets to its peak. When you're watching a movie, like a cartoon or some kind of movie, that is usually when all the characters in the storyline starts to get very chaotic. That's the climax of the story. This is where, this is usually also when we learn the outcome. Okay. All right. Climax. Well, if anything that goes up must come down. So as we are coming down from our story, we're hitting the falling action. Okay, and this is the storyline. The story is starting to settle. Things are starting to calm down. And this is when the problem is solved. Then when we get to the very end, we have resolution. Resolution. This is the end of the story. We tend to like resolution. Resolution is the part of the story where you get that good, happy feeling at the end. And sometimes when stories or movies don't have a good resolution, we feel kind of empty and So this is the part where like they have a happy ending and things are, the characters moving along and moving forward. So let's go over the parts again. The exposition, this is the beginning of the story. We're introduced to the character and the settings. Rising action, this is where the problem starts. It's where the problem begins. As we get to the very, very top, that is when we learn the outcome. That's the climax, the most exciting part of the story. Now the falling action. As we are going down, this is where the problem is solved. And then we have resolution. The resolution is the end of the story. All right, as you are reading your books, your fiction books, as you're reading your stories, you should go through this plot mountain through all of your stories, through your fiction stories. Every story, even a movie. If you watch a movie later on today, I want you to look for the plot of that story. There's always going to be some kind of problem, some kind of situation that's happening. It's going to go up, it's going to hit the climax, and then the story is going to fall back down to the falling action. That's where the problem is solved. Now, in this process, we have events that happen, and there's different events. The events are the different situations in the story that changes it, okay? So, as you were reading Space Rock yesterday, they had pause and think because there were different parts of the story that they wanted you to stop at and think about what's happening in the story. Those things that are happening that are important to the storyline are the events. There's going to be a separate video over Space Rock, but I just wanted to show this to you so that you can remember what Plot Mountain is about. All right, guys, have fun plotting.